Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Amrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Satgamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya.
Hello, hello. It is Tuesday evening here in Cincinnati, 5:55. Yeah, thank you, Alicia Mathewson, for bringing us into the space each time. The chant, if you are unfamiliar with it, is the Asato Ma Prayer. And the ancient lyrics say, lead me from untruth into truth. Lead me from darkness into light. And lead me from death to immortality. And so we enter the sacred space with those words. My hope, if you have been watching these videos for a while, is that you chant along with us as we dissolve time and space, as you listen in some virtual reality from your phone or your computer that is days, weeks, months, years from the moment right now that I'm recording it. As we dissolve time and space, that chant, those sounds, they move across that gap. The vibration of sound brings us into that the vibration of the activation of my voice, your voice, Alicia's voice, which was recorded years ago and yet plays in this now moment with me as I listen to it. I'm dissolving time and space with Alicia, and all who chanted with her, and all who have ever chanted to that song along with her, and all of those who ever chanted that song before she recorded it. As you add your voice to that chant, as you enter each of these recordings with me, each of these moments of time that are captured in a digital format, technology breaking the barriers of sound and time and space, as you chant along with us, you enter the same vibration that all those who have ever chanted that song have been in. All those who will ever chant that song step into this vibration. So add your voice. Add your voice. If you don't know the lyrics, you can find them. You can Google them. I'm sure I have them somewhere on my website. Memorize them, play with them, sing them, chant them. It is a sacred mantra that is going to guide humanity through all that is coming. And so the anchoring of that into your consciousness is going to help you stay steady as things ripple and change in our world. So practice. Sing along with me, chant along with me, chant along with Alicia. And then we expand that vibration of sound. We expand the collective energy field of all whoever will chant that song. So, yeah, chant along. No one will hear you. It's just you and me, and I can't hear you through the recording, so it's really just you. Just you, and then me, and then all the millions of others who will ever chant. Yeah, today feels like we're going to talk about sound and vibration, and I'm not quite sure how it all weaves together. I have little pieces that have been coming into my awareness, like through meditation and as I've just been moving through my day. And it's a really interesting process. Perhaps this would serve just to share my process, and maybe it informs yours in some way. When I wake up on Tuesday mornings, I know I'm going to sit in front of the video camera and my soul is going to have some things to say. And I'm curious, and I'm also usually a little nervous. Like, I should have a plan. I should have some kind of agenda. And then in my meditation in the morning, in my yoga, I usually have a sense like, I think we're going to talk about my voice. Okay, that's interesting. And then in a meditation, because I have a practice that I follow every day that takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And in part of that meditation, I remembered this printout that I had from years ago about whale medicine, and that's all connected to sound. And so later in the day, I couldn't find it. I had to reprint it, dig around on the internet to find it. And so that piece anchors in that I know I want to share. And then I'm listening to music and the song plays, and I'm like, of course, like that's the song that ties the that weaves it all together in a beautiful way. So I'm going to print the lyrics out to that song. And then just right now before we started, I had my eyes closed and I was just listening to that song. And as I'm listening to it, it's activating, oh, and then this piece, and that connects to this, and what about this? And all these little stories start to come through. And then when I close my eyes as the Asato Ma Prayer is being chanted, and I'm chanting with Alicia and entering the vibration of all of those who have ever chanted, more of the pieces weave together, more little nuggets of stories drop into my mind. And it's like this, it's just a little quick flash, you know, this moment, this story, this little piece. And when I begin speaking, when the music ends, there's a great, this is so funny, there's a great Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers song. Oh my God, I can't even start with this song, but that's what we're going to start with. I just played this to my friend the other day. It's called You Can't Make Old Friends. And there's a line where Dolly Parton sings to Kenny Rogers. She says, when I'm out on the stage, all alone, no one's there to hold my hand, what am I going to do? I'm going to keep singing. But you can't replace the song that you used to sing with me. You can't replace your energy in that space with me. And that's how I feel when I begin these videos. There's a surrender to my infinite soul is going to come through and say some things, and mostly it's going to be vibration. It's going to be the sound of my voice, and it's going to be my eyes. And the words themselves will make sense maybe, but that's not the important part. The important part is the activation that happens through the vibration of sound and eyes, light. And so in my surrender, I trust it's all going to weave together in this incredibly beautiful way. And whatever nuggets you're meant to receive from it, you will receive. And the vibration I am sending out is going to hold an energy, is going to expand an energy field that is going to call those towards it who need that vibration, who need that steadiness and that calm and that certainty that all is well. And that vibration will just continue rippling in the ways that it needs to through technology. So it's laying myself down in front of my infinite soul going, okay, here we go. Yeah, it's really interesting because when I first started coaching and guiding energy sessions, many of my clients, because they were like me, they were type A's, they would show up and they would have a list of 3, 4, 5 things that were present in their week or their 2 weeks since we'd had a call. And they would go, boom, boom, boom. Here's all the things that we're going to cover today. And somehow, magically, always, every one of those pieces tied together. And at the end of the client session, we're like, oh, that's what that was about. Who knew? I didn't know that's what it was all connected to, but of course. And it still works that way. It happens on the Sunday meditations. It happens all the time. Everything is weaving, it's connecting, it's overlapping and creating a story. All the time there are new stories that we're forming and creating and weaving. And when we're aware, when we're conscious and we are paying attention, all of those pieces always fit together perfectly. And in that weaving and seeing the pattern, we expand, we heal, we release the old stories. We become more. We become more. And that's the point. That's the point of being a soul in a human body, is to come into this experience and create more. So we started with Dolly Parton. That was a surprise. And also, I so love that song. If you don't know that song, it's one of my favorites. You need to listen to it. Can't Make Old Friends. They're the best. They are the best. Okay, as we talk about sound, I have my office door open today. I feel like I did last week, but I can't remember. The sounds of the birds are, I don't know if you can hear it, just absolutely delightful today. And I had the water running before I could hear the sound of the sprinkler. There's just beautiful sounds coming in through my door. So if there's traffic and noise, I apologize for that. But, you know, it's the soundtrack of this moment right here, this moment in time, as the birds sing to us. Okay, some of the nuggets that have been calling. Yeah, I'm going to start with reading this part about the whale medicine, and then I believe the stories will tie themselves together as we go. I have learned a lot in the last few years, and I also know I have so much I don't know. So I am going to read here from this medicine card about whale, and it's available on the internet. You can Google it and find it. And there's much more information about animal totems than what I'm going to share here. When I first started learning a little bit about the symbolism of animals and how they teach us through their presence, when an animal shows up, pay attention, because the vibration or energy that the animal holds is bringing you a message, is guiding you or giving you like universal information. So some people do this automatically, like they see a red cardinal, they think of someone that they have lost or who they have loved. They see a black cat and they think of witchery or danger. You know, we have these stereotypes or symbolic understandings of animals. And there is so much more that when you start playing with Google, when you start playing with Google to look up animal totems, you'll be amazed at the accuracy of what that animal is showing you or guiding you through at that point in your life. It's amazing how it always works that way. When I first started learning a little bit more about it, it was when the partner I was working with was doing a bunch of shamanic expansion. And so she was working with this incredible woman and looking at how to incorporate her animal totems, her spirit animals, into her work, into her branding, and into her website. And so I was watching her process and fascinated about how there were specific animals that guided her and how accurate those were. And somewhere along the path, I had a dream. That's what it was. I had a dream. It's so funny. I forgot about that. Don't you love how your soul just like brings that little flash right when you need it? I had a dream. It was, I don't even know how many years ago. 4 or 5 years ago. And in the dream, I was in this boat. It's so funny how some dreams, like you remember every single detail. I was in the boat and it's like a speedboat, and we were out in the ocean, and my son and my nephew were with me. And we were, this is funny. We were like in the boat and we were going really fast, and there were a lot of people in the boat with us. And I was on the edge, and I remember looking over into the water, and I saw this huge whale swimming right along the side of the boat. And I turned and I was yelling at my son and my nephew. I'm like, you guys, you got to see the whale. You got to see the whale. And they both had their video games with them because they are huge gamers. And they were like, yeah, later. I was like, no, you got to see the whale. You got to see the whale. And they never came to the edge of the boat to see the whale. And so I was just sitting on the edge watching this incredible whale go right along follow our path with the boat. And just as fast as the boat was going and moving through the water, it was the most incredible experience. And I remember like at one point we diverged paths, like the whale went that way and our boat went that way. And I woke up and I journaled all about it. And I remember just laying there like, that was incredible. The whale, like, oh my gosh, whales are amazing. And I've never actually seen one in person, but that was incredible. It felt like such a real experience. It was, I don't know, sometimes you just don't have the words for it. So the next day I looked up whale medicine, and that's where I found the card, and I printed it out. And I journaled a little bit about it, but the words of this description have, I guess I could use the word haunted, but it's not haunted. They come, specific phrases from this come into my consciousness over and over, and I'll know, like, yes, whale is my guide. I connect with the vibration of what the whale is holding. So you may know a lot about the whale. If not, I'm going to go ahead and share it now. My guess is if you are watching this, there is some connection to the whale in your experience. So perhaps you are a record keeper also, or perhaps you are very close to someone who is a record keeper. But there's information in this that will serve you, and it will serve those that you're in relationship with. So the whale, which in the cards, the medicine cards, is number 41, which adds up to a 5, which is a number that I love. So whale is the record keeper. I'm going to have to read to you, so I won't be looking at the camera the whole time. Okay. Whale is very much like a swimming library. Whale carries the history of Mother Earth and is said to have been placed here by the ancients from the dog star Sirius. Biologists say that whale is a mammal and very possibly lived on land millions of years ago. In tribal legend, whales' move into the ocean happened when the earth shifted and Lemuria, the motherland, went below the waves. All of our petroglyphs speak of the motherland, Mu, and the disaster that brought the red race to North America from the west beyond the great waters. The symbols in the petroglyphs speak of the rivers and the mountains crossed by our ancestors when they sought solid ground as the water receded. Whale saw the events that led to the settling of Turtle Island, North America, and has kept the records and the knowledge of the motherland alive. It is said that Mu will rise again when the fire comes from the sky and lands in another ocean of Mother Earth. The native medicine people, that was a slip. The native medicine people are waiting for this event as the next sign of Earth changes. Earth's children will have to unite and honor all ways and all races in order to survive. Whale medicine people are coded in their DNA to understand that sound frequencies can bring up records in the memories of ancient knowledge. They are usually clairaudient or able to hear both very low and very high frequencies. They are usually also psychically developed and fairly telepathic. Many times, however, they are not awakened to their gifts until it is time to use the stored records. Many whale medicine people are able to tap into the universal mind of Great Spirit and have no idea how or why they know what they know. Only later, when they receive confirmation, do they begin to understand how they know or why they received impressions. Whale medicine teaches us to use the sounds and the frequencies that balance our emotional bodies and heal our physical forms. To recall why the shaman's drum brings healing and peace is to align with whale's message. The drum is the universal heartbeat and aligns all beings heart to heart. Before the advent of speech and the primordial language, hand signs were used, and many tribes were silent most of the time. It sounds like bliss to me. The language that was understood was the sounds of Great Spirit's other creatures, the animals. If you pulled the whale card, you are being asked to tap into these records and to allow yourself to be sung to by those who have the original language. We are the only creatures who do not have our own unique cry or call. Find yours. Allow your voice to use this sound to release tension or emotion. Whale signals a time of finding your origins, of seeing your overall destiny as coded in your DNA, and of finding the sounds that will release these records. You may never again be the same. After all, you are the melody of the universe, and the harmony is the song of the other creatures. In using your voice to open your memory, a memory, you are expressing your uniqueness and your personal sound. As you open to this uniqueness, the animals that are your 9 totems may then send their sounds of calls to you or through you. This will open your personal records so that you may further explore your soul's history and commune with Whale, who carries the history of us all. Whale, as a power animal, is concerned with bringing messages out of the depths of your being, out of ancestral memories that lie deep within you in your DNA code. The answers to many of life's greatest perplexities lie hidden there, as well as the records of your own past and the indications of your own destiny. Whale can help you to go deep down into the oceans of time and discover and understand the ancient wisdom. Whale can also help you to find your own unique sound pattern and your own power song that can link you to the heartbeat of the universe. Whale has a power song of its own, which informs Sirius what Earth children are doing. Wisdom of the past. That is from Jamie Sams and David Carson's medicine cards, if you want to look that up. Thank you to them for allowing me to share that here. I'm assuming that's okay since it was on Google. Google, right? Gives us all permission to share. So my voice is my sound, and everyone's voice is their sound. And what I wanted to share today were some of the ways that some of the journey of my voice. Again, because I believe it will inform your own journey and offer encouragement and courage and perhaps compassion for the journey that we all take as infinite souls in very finite, limited human bodies. So my voice, when I chose this human body, I chose female, and that naturally made my voice a little more high-pitched than the male voice. When I was young, we lived in South Africa, and so the accent, there's no accent when you're in South Africa, you just speak English. The accent is when you move to America and your dialect sounds different, your tone sounds different than all of those around you, and so then you have an accent. I'll speak for myself. I didn't have an accent until I moved to the United States. I guess that's not true. We lived in London for 6 months when I was about 5 or 6 years old. So I would imagine I had an accent to the people there, but I don't remember that that was anything different. So I never thought my voice was strange or different. It was just my voice. And when I was 11 and we moved from South Africa we moved from Johannesburg to Dayton, Ohio, it was a little different. And we moved at the beginning of the summer. So we had the summer, my brother and sister and I had the summer to kind of figure out, what pop culture was and learn some of what styles were. I mean, everything was different. Everything was different. And so we kind of tried to figure it out from the neighborhood kids. And then we started 6th grade, and I started 6th grade. It was pretty intense. It was really intense. And my accent was the thing that identified me and also made me different. And in 6th grade, you don't want to be different. I wanted to fit in. I did not want to be different. I did not want to sound different. I did not want to talk different. I wanted to be just like everybody else, because then you can kind of sit back and observe and see what's happening and figure things out. What I remember, it's funny, the moments and the stories that our soul stores or our human mind stores in our journeys. One of the moments I can picture exactly, I was in the social studies classroom. I went up to the front to ask my teacher if I could go get a drink. I was thirsty. And I asked him if I could go get some water. And when you say that word in a British South African accent, it doesn't sound like it does in American words or lingo. And I remember he asked me to repeat it like 4 or 5 times, and everyone was giggling. It was just it was a moment. It was a brief moment. And I remember being so clear, like, I am going to learn how to say that word so I never have to do that again. Like, I'm going to figure it out. And so I've gotten really good at saying water. Yeah. So my voice separated me at a time where I didn't want to be separate. And so I worked really hard to merge, to change my voice, to change my language. And I did very well. And then, yeah, I navigated through high school fine. I merged right in. And then when I went away to college, I was taking some communications classes. I was at a liberal arts college. And I remember they're singing. Motorcycles, the volume comes straight up. It's so fun. It's so fun. I love what music they play because it sounds really cool at the top of the hill when it's amplified. It's so much fun. Okay, so anyway, I was at college, and the communications professor recommended that I talk to a speech pathologist or a linguist. I forget the name they used. And when I went in to talk to him, he was like, yeah, you got a lisp. You got to figure that out. You can't say your S's properly. And I remember being, oh, wait, there's one story before that. Sorry. Let me backtrack 1 second before that. When I was in high school, I decided to run for class officer. I was going to be the secretary because that's a very, very important job. And also I knew I didn't want to be anything more than that. I didn't think I'd ever get elected for it. And so it was really just for the fun of the campaign. You know, could I actually get elected? And then I did. And I was like, oh, shoot, what does that mean? What it means is, or what it meant then, was that I had to get up in front of all of our senior class, which was 700 students, and be part of the presentations at our senior class meetings. And I was not a public speaker. So because I'd learned how to shrink and kind of, fit in, I could talk nonstop when I was one-on-one with people, but in public settings, I froze. I did not like the public stage. And so my soul kind of guided me to be right up there on stage, practicing talking to lots of my peers. And it was intimidating as hell. I was so scared. And I did it. I don't remember loving it, but I did it. So when I went away to college, communication and marketing and management was what I started with. Like, that was going to be the path. So when my speech pathologist told me I had a lisp, I was like, oh my God, have I had this my whole life? Like, has everyone known this about me and I didn't know this? Are they laughing at me? Like, it was a shock. It was this huge shock to my whole system. Like, I have this thing that I didn't even realize I do. And so I tried to correct it. I did all the practicing of different things. And then it just was too much work. So I just kind of forgot about it. And I know I do it. I hear it sometimes. And also, like, it's just how I talk, and I don't really care because love me or don't, that's who I am. So when I switched colleges, and when I went to the college I graduated from, which was Northern Kentucky University, it was much smaller. I had some awesome professors, and we had a capstone class for international management, and there was this final presentation that we were doing, and it was a big deal. We'd been rehearsing and practicing, and our professor had really given us such great guidelines about everything we needed to do. And my team and I were ready. And for some reason, like, I knew I would get thirsty during the presentation. I'd become aware of my habits enough to know that. But I put the glass on the other side of the room. And so, another one of those moments that you remember clearly. I kept stopping in the middle of my 5 minutes. That's all I had to do was 5 minutes. I kept stopping, and I would say, excuse me, and I'd walk across the room, and I'd have a sip of water, and then I'd walk back, and I'd keep going. I did it like 3 or 4 times in 5 minutes. Oh my God. God bless my professor. The only thing he said, oh, so funny. The only thing he said on my comments was, move the glass of water closer to you next time. So now, ta-da, I keep my water right by my side. Oh my God, it was so funny. But once again, there's this theme, which was what I was realizing when I was preparing, in my meditation today. It's like there is this theme of water. Water was the word that got me humiliated in 6th grade, and then water was the thing that got me embarrassed in college. There's this theme of water, and again, like, it's no coincidence that my soul keeps connecting me to water. So, the record keepers. When I read that the first time, I'm looking down. I have no notes. I don't know why I'm looking down. I'm gathering my thoughts. I find that I can stream consciousness so much more clearly when my eyes are closed. And yet what this video keeps teaching me to do is do it with your eyes open. And I'm just like, oh, let me close my eyes. I'll be able to feel it so much faster. So practicing having my eyes open, it's an edge for me in this space. And I know that. I totally know that. And in this moment, I really just want to channel. All right. When I read that the first time about whale medicine, I had a full body reaction, and my body knew, like, my voice carries information. The vibration of sound that moves through my throat is so specific and so deliberate, and it is bringing information through. And so, yes, sometimes the words matter. Often they don't. It has nothing to do with the words. And so my soul's journey has been trusting the process of source energy moving through my voice. And it started in little ways with, guided meditations, the videos I made on meditating, recorded meditations, group meditations, phone calls, energy sessions. Like, I've been practicing these ways for the energy that is universal knowledge, what they describe in here, like the ancient knowledge, the universal mind of Great Spirit. Isn't that beautiful? The universal mind of Great Spirit, what I would call source, the original energy of all, source. And that flow of source energy moving through my throat and out into the world in whatever medium I've been choosing or practicing with is activating consciousness. It's activating awareness for those who are tuning into the vibration that I hold. There is an awakening that is happening if you hear my voice, and I know that. And so I have been so careful, so precise to make sure that my voice is accurately bringing through what Source wants to have come through. Because I also I have felt the responsibility of getting it, right, being accurate, making sure that what I receive is serving those who are receiving it. And I've gotten it wrong a lot. I've gotten it wrong a lot. And sometimes very painfully, it's when we speak our truth, I hate when I cry here. When we speak our truth, when we are in our alignment, our deepest alignment with our soul, not everyone around us is always ready for that. And yeah, sometimes we're just better at it than others. what has been moving through me recently is this knowing, this absolute knowing that all the things I've talked about for a long time, humanity healing, the earth shaking and rattling and waking us up, this shift in vibration from third dimension, which is so fucking dense, so fear-based, so heavy, so hard, moving from third dimension into fourth, which is rocky, bumpy, unclear, unknown, and landing in fifth dimension of consciousness, which is graceful and steady and pure love, connection. As we move from third to fourth to fifth, it's turbulent, and it's only going to get more turbulent. And that's the way to wake people up. This morning, my alarm clock on my phone went off, and for some reason the volume was so loud and it was so jagged. Like, I jumped. When I heard I jumped, I was so scared. I was like, oh, like, what was that? You know, it was abrupt and sharp, and it jolted me awake. And I needed that reminder today that sometimes that sudden, like, boom, you know, like the pounding, like when people are having heart attacks and they shock them with the EKG equipment, it bumps the heart back into rhythm. It shakes us up enough that we wake up. We become aware. We become aware of what is happening around us. And we've had lots of those moments over the last few years. Lots. I mean, for a while. And yet we are entering a time where it's going to be constant, like one after another, and feels like it's going to be very intense. For those who are in third and fourth, who are in fear, who are stuck in the stories that things are difficult and painful, and there's tragedy all around, you know, that vibration will resonate with those who are in that vibration. And so when there's a shock or a wake up, it's going to be very jolting. For those who are in a higher vibration of consciousness, I talk about this in One Day in my book. Those who are in a higher vibration of consciousness, we already know that our planet is healing. We already know that humanity is waking up. We already know that in this process of stepping out of the density and into the purity, there's some shedding that happens. There's ripples that move through our communities, through our relationships, through the world, through the whole world. And it's okay. You know, it's okay. There's nothing to be scared of. There's nothing to try to hold on to. There's really nothing that even has to be done. It's just this knowing that everything in our existence, in our experience, everything that ever was, everything that ever will be, is always love. Always. So even in the fear, when we sift through all of the fear and the stories and the beliefs, what sits underneath that is love. When we release all the fear, we come back to love. I write this on the cover of the autism book that I'm wrapping up. Love is the universal language. It is. It is. Every soul knows that. Every soul resonates with that. We have these beliefs that there are good and bad, right and wrong, evil and darkness, and light and sweetness. And all of it is love. Every aspect of source of consciousness is love, comes back to love, will become love, will return to love. And that knowing has always been so solid in me. I've just always known that. I've been able to hold that. I've been able to maintain that vibration through much of my journey. And the times where I've been in what I would call my darkness or my fear or my contraction or my density, I've always found love underneath that. And when I've come through the contraction, the love I feel is stronger, it's more expanded. My capacity to love more is more. And everyone is that way. We all have that capacity. Everything I experience is fully available to everyone else. We are a collective consciousness of we. We, right? So in my work, in my meditations, in these videos, in what I write, in the sessions I have, there is no room for the fear to keep expanding in the work that I do. The vibration I hold is, I know it's love, I know it's going to become love, I know it's going to return to love. So whatever we're looking at or talking about, somewhere in there is a seed or a spark of love. Let's find that. Let's focus on that and let's expand that. Because that expands so much more rapidly than fear. When you focus on love and you spark it and you expand it and you breathe into it and you talk about it, it naturally spreads. Always. Always. What I was feeling today was the the humanness that functions side by side with my infinite soul. So my infinite soul is super wise and knows, yeah, everything's love. Ride through the bumps, it's all good. Everything is going to come back to love. And what I could feel today is I had quite a bit of grief. I was really just sad, feeling some of the waves that I believe we're all going to move through. And like feeling some of the grief in the relationships that I've had that have ended or paused, perhaps not ended, paused. Because I know as souls, we all always come back together and giggle about how crazy our human journeys were. But sometimes the human part of me feels that shit. So today was a little bit of that. And then I picked my son up from school, and beautiful soul that he is, he's like, I think we should get in the pool today. We should be in the sunshine. He never wants to do that. So he dragged me outside into the sun and brought me back to center again. Our relationships do that for us, don't they? When we surround ourselves with wise, beautiful souls, in the times where we feel a little like, oh, it's hard, it hurts, why doesn't it look like that? Those beautiful, wise souls can remind us. They can remind us of who we are inside, what our truth is. So, blessings to my son for being that for me today. He is an incredible, incredible, wise, old, magical soul. I picked very well. I tell him that all the time. I picked so well. And then I remind him of how wise he was to pick me as a mom too, because I'm pretty awesome. At least that's what I tell him. I am the best mom you could have possibly asked for. Okay, were there any other stories stories. Now, I guess what I would add is, I've talked about my love for the ocean before, and when we moved into this house, I asked for a pool to be put in, and I spend a lot of time in the water. I spend a lot of time, I do a bath every day with salts, and I feel more grounded in water. So funny, huh? But I do. I feel more grounded in water. And I'm an Aquarius, which I thought meant I was a water person, water bearer, until a beautiful astrologist told me, no, you're air, mind. You're all mind. So you love the water because it brings balance to your system, which made so much sense. So I love the water. I feel very protective of the water, of our planet. I know there are so many beautiful souls that are working with water. I think of Dr. Masaru Emoto and the work that he did on the intention of water, connecting intention and words and vibration of sound to water. And so I practice that. I live that here in my home. And there are so many tribes and groups who are water healers, water protectors, water bearers that are bringing water into communities that don't have it. And I honor and bless all the work that is happening on our planet. And there's also a feeling, I don't have words for it yet, a feeling that my work with water is just beginning. And that's all it is right now. It's just a feeling. So I trust that. I'm going to follow where that takes me. All right. Vibration. Vibration, sound. As you know, if you're watching this with me, I love music. I love chanting. I love the vibration of sound as it moves through my voice. The first time I went to, well, actually there are two more quick stories. When I was in high school, I joined the choir. Speaking of voice, it was this beautiful choir at the church that my family went to. My brother's mom, she was the choir director and pianist, and just awesome. Anyway, so I joined the choir, and I thought my voice was awesome. I thought I had a great voice because I'd mastered the accent, and it was high-pitched like a girl's was supposed to be, so I thought I did great. And I remember I asked for a solo. I think I asked for a solo because we would tour. I mean, this is a big choir. It was awesome. We would get on a bus. I love that part of it too. We'd get on a bus and we'd travel for, a week during the summer and do little road trips here or there. And I mean, the bus was so fun and everyone was always just having the best time. And it was just this huge adventure to be in the choir. And I thought my voice was great, and then not so great. Humbled me, and so I stopped singing for a long time. I mean, I would sing to my children. I've always serenaded my children, but that was about it. And then I married this beautiful husband of mine who works at a creative and performing arts school where everyone has incredible voices. So when I sing, around the house, it's not quite up to par. But I remember the first time I went to a Kundalini yoga class with the beautiful Catherine, who is my instructor, my teacher, my guide. She's amazing. I sat down in the class. I was by myself. I didn't know anybody, and I just heard about it. My friend Jenny had said, you need to do something where you learn to breathe better. She's a psychic tarot card reader, and she's like, you got to learn to breathe. You're not doing it right. So, practice the Asato Ma meditation. And so I started with that, and then I was reading about it and reading about Kundalini yoga. I'm like, what is this yoga? I got to try this out. And so I go into the classroom. We sit down, and Catherine always starts with chanting. She has 10 minutes of chanting before the actual yoga class starts. And so I sat and looked around to see how I was supposed to be sitting and what I was supposed to be doing. And we started with this chant, Ong Namo. And I had been listening to, and it was by Snatam Kaur. I had been listening to that chant for a couple of years and loved it, like loved it. Is that true? How did I hear of that? I have to think back on that. That wasn't the first time I heard it, but it was the first time we chanted it. In the group, I'm sitting in the classroom and all these voices are chanting Ong Namo. And I just start crying. I couldn't stop crying. I was trying to chant and crying and listening, and the vibration of sound moving through that room just opened my soul. Opened my soul. It was absolutely incredible. I love that song, that chant. It's the opening for my book. It's the beginning vibration of sound that I include in my book. And when I went to an astrology retreat last year with my daughter in Costa Rica, we were late because our flight was delayed. And so when we got there, they'd already done quite a bit. And so we sat down the first night and they were bringing the group together, and there were 100-something people in this room. And they turned the lights down, and then they started moving around the room with Palo Alto, I think it's called. I think I'm saying that right. The beautiful wood that has that aroma. And they played Snatam Kaur's Ong Namo, and we were chanting and singing, and my heart. It was such a beautiful moment. Such a beautiful moment. And the vibration of that song, I chant that before each of my Sunday calls. I have that on the software, and so it plays into the phone system. And I chant along with her before we begin the call. So sound, vibration, has energy, carries information. And when you tap into a chant that resonates with you, make that part of your practice. There's something that it's speaking to your soul. It's reminding, awakening your soul. And so trust what you're guided to chant. Chant more, sing more, use your voice, express yourself. That was the message I had last night as I was laying down to go to sleep. I'm like, oh, tomorrow, Tuesday night, it's going to be about speaking up. And it is a little, but it's more just express your sound. Share your vibration. Share the vibration that moves through your throat and out into the world. And practice, say it, speak it. You know, if you're hesitating like I did for so long, like speak to your friends, practice speaking your truth with those that you trust and you love. And when you feel source energy, universal knowledge, truth, soul truth, moving through your throat and wanting to come out, share it louder. Share it more publicly. You have an expression that is meant to come through you and out into the world. So I encourage you, I send you courage. Begin, try, activate. Be a voice that others can trust and listen to and come to when things get a little rocky and shaky. All right, I am wrapping up with Jason Mraz again. I've been singing along to Jason Mraz for the last couple of weeks. He has a joy, a vibrancy, playfulness that just feels so sweet to me right now. So the song I picked is called Everything is Sound. When there is love, I can't wait to talk about it. When things get rough, I like to walk with you. Or when it's night, I like to be the light that's missing and remind you every minute of the future isn't written. When there is love, or when the heart feels heavy, we can lighten it up. If you've had enough, well, you can empty your glass and we can fill it back up. You know, it's up to us to make it all up. So what are you making up? I can make it up now. You could be loved no matter what. You know, the only time is right now. It's right where you are. You don't need a vacation. I love this line. You don't need a vacation when there's nothing to escape from. Singing. La 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 la. You gotta hear it. It's so catchy. Let's all sing. And then he says, everything is sound. Let's sing to be happy, to feel things, to communicate and to be heard. Or sing out to protest and to protect and to harmonize with birds. Whether it's your birthday or your dying day, it's a celebration to rejoice, to use your voice and give wings to any old choice. Whatever you're choosing right now, it's right where you are. Set your vibration and your undulation to the highest that it can go. And trust me, hear me, if it makes you want to sing, just sing it. And then he starts singing hallelujah, and he eventually sings hallelujah. It's a song that I've forgotten often. It doesn't make me wrong, because we all need the darkness to see the light. And now that we're wise, come on and sing it. Everything is sound. We're connected now. Jason Mraz, Everything is Sound. Please Google it, listen to it, and then dance along with me, because he is holding an incredible vibration for all of us to rise to and connect to. And the more of our voices that rise, that hold the higher vibration, the smoother this transition is going to be as consciousness expands and humanity heals. So, express. Let us hear your voice. So much love from my heart to yours tonight. Mwah.